think about the word fruits, what's the first association that comes to mind? Well, for a lot of people today, fruits equals sugar. There was a time when we didn't question whether fruits were good for us, but nowadays many people are worried that fruits have a lot of sugar and therefore they avoid consuming them. So today we're going to find out whether fruits really have a lot of sugar in them or not, and I want to start by looking into two terms, the glycemic index and glycemic load. What are these and why am I bringing this up? So the glycemic index is a value that was given to foods based on how these foods cause an increase in blood glucose levels, how slow or how quick they raise the sugar levels in the blood. Each food item is ranked in a scale of 0 to 100. So if you look at a regular glycemic index chart, you'll see that fruits are ranked anywhere between around 25 to 70, depends on the type of fruit. I'm talking about fresh fruits here, not dried. Dried fruits is a separate category by itself. If you compare the fresh fruits to other fruits, most of the fruits are not so high in the glycemic index scale. But that's not the whole story, there's another part here. So the glycemic index doesn't take into account the quantity of the food that is going to be eaten, the serving size, and also the other nutritional values that are in the food. And that's where glycemic load enters the picture. The glycemic load gives you a more accurate estimation on how the food will impact your blood sugar levels, because it combines both the amount and the quality of the carbohydrates that are in the food. So for example, if you take the average bread, the glycemic load is 71. A serving size is about 25 to 30 grams. This is a slice, and the glycemic load per serving is 10. If you eat a sandwich, which is 2 slices, you reach a glycemic load of 20. Now let's take watermelon. It has almost the same glycemic index, 72, but since a serving of watermelon has such a small amount of carbohydrates in it, the glycemic load is only 4. And that's the same for many other fruits as well. The glycemic load of most fruits doesn't go above 5 or 6 per serving. Just from that, we can see that when people say fruits have too much sugar in them and therefore they don't eat them, but then at the same meal they eat bread, rice, pasta, or they drink a glass of Coke, they actually raise their blood sugar levels way more than if they would have eaten the fruits. You would need to eat 5 oranges in order to have the same amount of glycemic load as in the sandwich you eat, without taking into account what's inside the sandwich. Alright, let's put the glycemic load and index to the side and look at why and how the sugar in fruits is different than in other foods. From the Harvard Health Letter, the nutritional problems of fructose come when they are added to foods, whether in the form of sucrose, high fructose corn syrup, cane sugar, honey, and more. Those are empty calories in terms of not providing other nutrients. Fructose is also naturally found in fruits, and fruits are not harmful and are even beneficial in almost any amount. The fructose from added sugar is not the same as the natural fructose in the fruits. The difference between natural fructose and added fructose or other added sugars is the package in which it comes in. Fruits have 3 main components that affect the way we absorb their sugar in the body. The sugar in fruits comes wrapped in a fiber-rich, water-rich, and nutrient-rich package. Each one of these is an important part of the process. The fiber slows the release of the fruit's natural sugar into your bloodstream. It basically slows the digestion process, and so it prevents the spike in sugar levels. Fructose in sweet drinks, for example, is pure liquid sugar. It enters your bloodstream right away, which leads to a quick spike in sugar levels in the blood. Most other processed foods are also loaded with refined sugar, and their fiber content is close to 0, which again allows the sugar to quickly move into your bloodstream. Another component in fruits is water. Since most fruits have a higher water content, they tend to have less of the other macronutrients as the weight, meaning they tend to have less carbohydrates than most of the other processed foods we consume. And as we previously saw, the amount of carbohydrates in the foods we choose to eat has a direct effect on the glycemic load. You can see that if we take a banana, for example, it has a higher glycemic load, and one of the reasons for that is because it has a lower water content and therefore a higher concentration in sugar. And finally, fruits have phytonutrients. These compounds are what gives fruits their color. A lot of it is on the skin of the fruits. These are very powerful antioxidants and they have anti-inflammatory benefits. It was actually proven that phytonutrients in the fruits can inhibit some of the sugar uptake. In a few studies that checked the effect of phytonutrients on glucose uptake, they used berries and apples, and they found that phytonutrients can interact directly with glucose transporters to inhibit glucose uptake, meaning they slow down the spike in sugar levels. But in another even more exciting study, the researchers found that consuming white bread with blueberries reduces the sugar spike that usually happens from eating the white bread alone. Which means that the fruits have the effect of actually reducing the increase in sugar levels in the blood. And this is pretty awesome. Even though they added more sugar to the other sugary foods, the consumption of berries helped creating a lower spike in insulin. Fruits come in a very sophisticated package, and yes, they do contain sugar, but because of that package, they don't get absorbed the same way that other processed foods do. It's not the same thing as eating added sugar like the ones we find in breads, candy bars, desserts, sweet drinks, and so forth. The only fruits you should be worried about are dried fruits. Dried fruits are the highest in sugar in the fruits category, simply because their package is not completed. It's missing the water component, and therefore the sugar in them is more concentrated per serving. Now go ahead and grab your watermelon, oranges, or whatever other fruits that are currently available in the time of the year in which you watch this video. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with other people so that we can reach more people and help them on their journey as well. I'll see you in the next video.